Today, we'll be looking into Michael Scott's genius yet simple process of closing deals. But aside from going over his go-to sales method and techniques, we'll also analyze his aggressively deceptive negotiation tactics, which forced David Wallace to agree to his insane demands, with the last technique having the power to potentially triple your chances of getting what you want in any given situation. But first, some context. In Season 2, Episode 7 of The Office, Michael properly proves why he's the company's top salesman. During this episode, his branch was on the brink of downsizing. The stakes relied on this one big sale.
It's Lackawanna County, our whole county. And if we get this, they might not have to downsize our branch.
Jan, who was still his boss at the time, took it upon herself to lead the meeting, planned everything to the last detail just for Michael to hijack her corporate formal schemes at the last minute, and instead opt for a more laid-back and classic sales approach. And it's here where he shows his go-to method to secure a sale, aptly named the relationship selling method. This is where Michael's authenticity shines. His desire to create friendships acts as his strategy's anchor, allowing him to effectively build rapport or create a bond with his client through a number of solid techniques. Firstly, he tries to connect on a personal level. But instead of just making small talk, Michael opens a conversation in the best way possible. He makes a joke.
Oh, no! Oh my god, that's funny!
A laugh shared is often a connection made, with psychologists even pointing out that it reduces social barriers, making it easier for people to build rapport. And that's exactly what Michael does. He sets aside the sale to get to know the person. And as he does this, he makes sure to apply the second technique, which Jan obviously missed, which is being patient throughout the sales cycle. Going too fast is a huge mistake when it comes to sales or negotiations, because being in a hurry makes the other person feel like they're not being heard, which risks losing the rapport you're trying to build. This highlights Michael's expertise even more, when you realize what he really meant by saying this.
Probably going to go late tonight, burning the midnight tequila.
Michael, this shouldn't take more than an hour.
It's him telling us that he's played the game enough times to know that slow is the way to go. To Michael, it was never a question of if they'd make the sale, it's how long it would take to figure the other person out, which he does exceptionally well, as he's also mastered the third technique, which is arguably one of his best traits that I've overlooked the first time I've watched this episode. It's being a good listener, and it's so subtle as it happens right before the joke.
I thought we could start by going over the needs of the county.
Well, Lackawanna County has not been immune to the slow economic growth over the past 5 years. So for us, the name of the game is budget reduction.
Pause. Go back a bit. Right there. It looks as if Michael is thinking about what to order, but the fact that he picked his favorite restaurant to make the sale, and he even knows the waitress's name, means that he probably knew what to get even before going in. And what he was really doing was faintly paying attention to the client, cutting in before the meeting went south. And Michael does this a number of times.
Well, we are out to save money.
What's the bottom line?
You know what? It really is.
Moreover, as the conversations got more personal, Michael becomes even more invested. And with the barriers of formality crumbling to the ground, Michael uses the rest of his time to sneakily apply the fourth technique, showing his expertise. At the last part of the meeting, the client is now fully invested in Michael as well, as he mentions how important Lackawanna County is to him, that he, more than anyone, understands what it's going through. By doing this, he subtly addresses the client's first concern. But what Michael says next is what absolutely secures the deal. Notice how he smartly establishes 3 things in the span of 10 seconds.
Here's the thing about those discount suppliers. They don't care. They come in, they undercut everything, and they run us out of business. And then, once we're all gone, they jack up the prices. It's bad.
It's terrible.
It is. You know what? It really is.
And the reason the client willingly lends an ear is because now he sees Michael as someone he can trust. And it's because Michael bought his time, being authentic all the way, making an effort to connect with him, enough for the client to trust him when Michael gives his 2 cents on the matter. So much so that in the end, he was willing to give him his business.
I guess I could give you guys our business, but you have to meet me halfway.
And just like that, Michael won over the client, the audience, and one of the biggest regrets of his entire life. But before we move on to the next scene, here are some special mentions of Michael never failing to surprise people as a sales genius. Number 1. Michael sells to the seller.
They're exclusive with Staples.
Used to be. Evan will call you in the morning to work out the details. We can now sell Hammer Mill products.
I underestimated you.
Yeah, well, maybe next time you will estimate me.
And number 2, Michael pulling the old misleading color coding technique, which he hasn't used since the Edo era.
How's your gay son?
Excuse me?
I wrote gay son in green. Green means go. so I know to go ahead and shut up about it.
Alright, now for the $1 million negotiation. In Season 5, Episode 23, after Michael felt severely underappreciated with the horrible treatment he was getting from David Wallace and Charles Miner, he rightfully stood up for himself, quit his job, and established the Michael Scott Paper Company.
You have no idea how high I can fly.
He successfully stole clients from Dunder Mifflin by offering them the lowest prices in town, but as his strategy backfired and put them on the verge of bankruptcy, David Wallace actually knew nothing of their state and offered to buy them out before Dunder Mifflin suffered even more losses. So as Michael is trying his best to hide the fact that they're broke, they enter a negotiation. But as David and Charles came in with a principled strategy, Michael knew he had to counter with a positional bargaining tactic. This is because Michael knew he had no other option. They were the underdog, up against a bigger player in the paper industry. Moreover, the deal had to happen fast before the other party realized just how broke they were. So with the odds stacked against them, he had to level the playing field and get their jobs back or go broke. So after Michael declines their second offer, David doesn't fold and checks Michael by saying this.
Here's the situation. Your company is 4 weeks old. I know this business. I know what suppliers are charging. I know you can't be making very much money. I don't know how your prices are so low, but I know it can't keep up that way. I'm sure you're scared, probably in debt. It's the best offer you're gonna get.
A strong argument and solid intimidation. But despite his position, Michael is unfazed and pushes back with one of the hardest lines in the entire series.
I'll see your situation and I'll raise you a situation. Your company is losing clients left and right. You have a stockholder meeting coming up and you're going to have to explain to them why your most profitable branch is bleeding. So they may be looking for a little change in the CFO. So I don't think I need to wait out Dunder Mifflin. I think I just have to wait out you.
That was the first technique called reframing. It shifts how a problem is seen, placing Michael's company at a better position to make demands. But more importantly, it accomplishes one of the objectives of positional bargaining, which is highlighting the disadvantages of a communication breakdown. And Michael does this by putting David on the spot, telling him that if he doesn't make a better offer, he could lose his job. So with a calm front, despite probably mentally pissing his pants, David Wallace folds and offers this.
How's about $60,000?
This throws Michael off guard, but he makes a good decision by asking them for the room to go over their options, taking a breather before the game ensues. And as they go back and forth, Michael makes his final offer, asking for his job back, with a sneaky technique that drastically increased his chances of getting what he wanted.
I want my old job back and I want Charles gone.
I'm not firing Charles. He's very valuable.
I need him gone.
No.
Okay, then I want Pam back.
That was a rejection-then-retreat technique. It often opens with a high demand, followed by a rejection, a concession, and then the real demand, which is lower than the first one. And as referenced in this book, experiments have shown that it increases your chances of getting what you want by up to 3 times because of the rule of reciprocity, meaning David is now more inclined to concede to a demand as he feels obligated to return the favor after Michael accepted his rejection. Michael does take it a step too far after asking for Ryan back, but then he proceeds with the final bluff, which was really a bluff within a bluff that made Pam and Ryan's and my heart drop for a second.
You're talking about a multi-million-dollar buyout. Your company cannot be worth that much.
Our company is worth nothing.
But he saves himself.
That's the difference between you and I. If tomorrow my company goes under, I will just start another paper company, and then another, and another, and another.
And after he managed to catch himself, or dare I say carry out something he'd planned all along, he then pulls a reverse Uno card on David, with a respectful take it or leave it middle finger.
Our balls are in your court.
Okay. Deal.
And just like that, they secured the deal, with Michael once again proving why he's the best salesman Dunder Mifflin has ever had.